Yo, Jay, what time is it?
New Chip on the Block podcast.
Yeah, man,
Okay.
let's go.
NCOTB.
Let's go.
Let's go. Have you ever had a day go south with a chip in your mouth? Nah, this fried potatoes too packed with flavor. It's a universal snack finding everyone's favor. Better listen up and buy a bag for your neighbor. These the only chips in our hands, we don't gamble. No chip too gross or gourmet, we can't handle. So whether you're going to work or on a walk, grab a bag and munch along, we'll see you on the block.
Yo, dust those crumbs off your shoulder.
Grab a bag, munch along, we'll see you on the block. Just go get a bag, man, go to the pantry. Yeah, grab a bag, munch along, we'll see you on the block.
Welcome to the New Chip on the Block podcast, where we review chips, we talk about our love for chips, and we talk about everything chip culture. My name is Chris.
I'm Jordan.
And we're here today, episode 1, to talk to you guys about, just what this podcast is all about. So Jordan, I want to ask you a question. What does chips mean to you?
Chips are my love language. Not actually, but I love chips. If I'm ever gonna snack, I've always been a salt tooth, not a sweet tooth. So chips are the thing that I go to any time of day.
Right.
And I love them.
Absolutely. Yeah. For me,
Probably the most versatile snack.
very much so. Yeah. For me, I think it's very clear and it's very plain. There's an entire aisle in the grocery store to chips.
Yeah.
There isn't one to,
Chocolate bars.
Yeah, chocolate bars is usually shared with candy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But chips is like this aisle on its own, and for me it feels like it's a culture on its own.
Yeah.
I love eating chips. I probably eat way more chips than I'm supposed to. But I remember a couple of years ago, it was during COVID, and I was eating this chip flavor. It was a combination of Cheetos and ketchup.
Okay.
And I wrote an extensive review on Instagram, which I don't think many people read, but I wrote that and I was like, you know what? If I was gonna talk about something at lengths, it would be talking about chip flavors and just what our experience of chips is. So when we start talking about chips and you start having that same sort of passion and excitement, it made me realize that it would be a detriment to society if we didn't start this podcast.
Yeah, 100%. So this chip's been in the deep fry for a while now.
Absolutely.
We're stoked to start. I mean, similarly, in terms of what chips mean to me, we've talked before, and I shared the first time that I distinctly recall buying a bag of chips with my own money, and it was from like Araba Fine Foods, and it was Miss Vickie's Jalapeño, and I bought it on my way home with some change that I had in my pocket, and I ate the whole bag, and it was like, just the best experience, one of the best experiences from my childhood that I remember so clearly.
Yeah.
So I love chips
Arguably a core memory.
Yeah.
And potentially something that steered you in a certain direction. If you didn't have those chips, you might be a totally different person today.
Probably wouldn't have a kid.
Yes, maybe.
We thought it would be awesome every episode to hit you with a chip fun fact. And this one's pretty awesome. This is the birth of a podcast. And to complement the birth of a podcast, this one's a little bit death related, but it's cool. So, fun fact. The man that invented the Pringles can, Frederick J. Bauer, died in May 2008, and as per his wishes, some of his cremated ashes were buried in a Pringles can.
Wow. Some
Some people choose to put their ashes in trees and plant the trees. I don't know. I think this is much more of a bold move.
Yeah. More, well, obviously sentimental.
Yeah.
He stands behind his product.
Yeah.
Right? Now, just really quickly, what's your take on Pringles? So what do you think about Pringles?
I'm glad you asked about Pringles because I don't really know my thoughts on cremation yet. But Pringles, I think, Pringles are interesting. They're not, in my mind, what you, like a slice of a potato popped in hot oil. Or even baked. It's like someone put a bunch of like potato mush or soup and like put it in a filter or something.
Right.
I don't know. They're not my favorite chip. I'll say that.
Yeah. As a kid, I loved Pringles.
They're fun.
They're fun, but
The duck lips.
But I've had Pringles recently, and they're almost inedible. Like they're terrible.
Okay.
The Pringles are all about the can. Without the can, the Pringles are well, like I don't even think that they would have a place in society. People wouldn't know what Pringles are. That can really makes the chip.
That's the distinguishing factor.
Yeah. And good on this guy who invented Pringles to know that's the core of what the Pringles brand is all about.
Literally died on that hill.
Because if you
yeah. In that hill.
In that hill. Yeah, exactly. Even this segment, what we've realized is there is so much chip news. So this is our commitment to you that we will bring you all the latest chip news. So every time you hear our podcast, know that you're going to learn a little bit more about chips, but you're going to be up to date with the chip current events so that when you're around friends, you won't feel embarrassed that you don't know.
You know the chip culture.
Exactly.
You're in the culture. So without further ado, this chip that we are rating on this episode, we got Miss Vickie's, what does that say? Harvest, Cheddar, and Jalapeño.
Yeah, so I'll share about this. I had this chip last week, and what I would say is I was quite impressed with it. Now, when I had it, instantly I was like, Jordan needs to try this chip. I need to hear what your chip... Like, I would say my chip profile is like a spicy cheese.
Okay.
I don't know what yours is. I know you like the Miss Vickie's jalapeno.
Yep.
Adding cheese to that, do you think that will enhance the flavor or make it harder for you?
I think it will make it harder for me.
Okay.
Growing up, I thought like Doritos, like nacho cheese flavor was and I think a lot of people would agree, like the stinkiest, kind of weirdest thing, and I feel like that gave cheese flavored chips a bad rep for me.
Oh.
In hindsight, I wasn't having these thoughts when I was like 6 or 7, but like now, I'm like,
yeah,
that's kind of what comes to mind. And I don't typically go for, unless it's like Cheetos or cheesy specifically, like chip enhanced or chip infused flavors.
Right. Okay. So I'm excited to share this with you.
Cheese enhanced or chip or cheese infused flavors.
All right. So why don't we talk about the bag?
Yeah.
What do you think about this bag?
Miss Vickie, I feel like you can see, you know, they've got the barn, they've got the silo, like they've always had that very traditional, rustic feel to their branding.
Yeah.
I think the actual chips on the bag as well look quite realistic.
Yes.
They maybe not to size, obviously, but they will look like the chip that you pull out of the bag.
Yes. I think Miss Vickie's does a great job of using colors that make it feel rustic. Like I feel like I'm eating this, you know, on the countryside. Someone just recently sliced these potatoes for me.
It's comforting. It's a little bit muted.
Yes.
The coloring.
Yeah. It's not in your face. It's like almost like if you have you know, like a package of Pop Rockets or something. It's just bold, in your face, loud.
Yeah.
This is almost like the sophisticated chip. This is like the chip for like a grown up.
Yeah, it's interesting about the Pop Rocks too, because like that also sets the stage for the flavor you expect from a thing of Pop Rocks too.
Absolutely.
So I think in the same way, like Miss Vickie's does have like on the other flavors that we both had, like they're good, but I wouldn't say they like I've never been like punched in the mouth by a Miss Vickie's flavor, so it'll be cool to see what this tastes like. Because Miss Vickie's jalapeno, like I said, first bag of chips I ever purchased with my own hard-earned money. It probably wasn't hard-earned, but I came across the change somehow. But like my first and favorite to this day flavor. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think we're both pretty big. We're both liking the brand, the bag.
Yeah.
Is there any? I don't see any description here.
No, I do think it's always interesting hearing, and maybe it's just something I've not noticed with other bags, but they really lean into their heritage, like crafted with care. Since 1987, which is cool.
Yeah.
Crafted in Canada, if that's something you care about.
Yeah.
Obviously, big chip is an industry.
Yeah.
So you know that might be a little bit of overselling. Who knows?
Yeah.
I haven't done a deep dive into the processing and manufacturing of Miss Vickie's chips.
I don't.
But Canadian aspect for any Canadians listening.
Awesome. All right, well, let's open it up.
Yeah.
All right.
And the best before date is December 3rd, 2024. So we are within what should be giving us optimal chip experience.
We're in the fresh zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we do like a
smell?
Can we do a waft?
A waft, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it has a very distinct Miss Vickie smell to it.
Yeah.
Regardless of the flavor, I think Miss Vickie has a smell that is like, you know it.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, like I get the hints of jalapeno immediately.
Okay.
It's not like sneeze-inducing spicy or hot, but it's that like it's that pepper feel.
Yes.
Like if you
Yeah.
sniff a little pepper shaker, it gives you that little sensation. Yeah, they smell good. Honestly, I expected to be a little bit more grossed out with the cheese flavor.
Okay.
Because I know there's been other flavors of
Yeah.
chips where I'm like, it just leaves a gross feel in my nose.
Yeah.
For chips.
All right.
But
now here's a question. Do we start with like a wish chip or a flat chip? I'm gonna start with a flat.
Okay.
I feel like I'm gonna get a more.
I feel like we should do the same then. We'll do a flat.
Okay, do a flat. Yeah.
Do a flat.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
So like I said, I've had this before. Obviously, I said it up front. I'm a big fan of this flavor. But what do you think? Right. First impressions.
My first impression is that if there's one brand that's probably one of the like top 3 most consistent with their crunch.
Yeah.
And like overall texture, like it's such a good crunch.
Yeah.
Like I could listen to like ASMR crunch, like Miss Vickie crunch all day.
Yeah.
I get that. Again, so that's like off the bat, that's the first thing I noticed.
I think of all
crunch.
the big brands, it's the number one crunch. It's got to be.
Yeah. Other ones are either too thin and papery.
Yeah. Or too thick.
Or
There's crunchy
too
ones that
thick.
are way too thick. Yeah.
Yeah, like you want really thick with a corn chip, but not in like.
Yeah.
Not in
something
not in
like
a
this.
potato
Oh,
chip.
yeah, absolutely not. Yeah.
I honestly did not think I would like it.
Really? Okay.
I think the cheddar is just throwing me off, and it's more of like a mental game
Yeah.
than anything. But it's actually not bad. It's not as spicy as jalapeno. Was that a wish chip you had?
Yeah, I got a wish chip. Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, it's so good. And you know you're gonna get like double the crunch with a wish chip. What's less than that?
Yeah.
It's so good.
I think without a doubt, the crunch is there. I think, well, I know from experience, I could eat a whole bowl of these in one sitting. It's not one of those flavors. Yeah, it's not one of those flavors that I would get sick of.
Yeah.
I don't know. Could you eat a whole bowl of this?
If it was the only bag of chips in my house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I had a beautiful green bag of jalapeno,
Yeah.
just jalapeno, I'm choosing that like 10 times out of 10.
Yeah.
This is good though.
Yeah.
I could. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of growing on me, but I think I'm just so pleasantly surprised because I really wasn't stoked on. I was surprised first by the smell, and then second by the flavor. And like, I mean, yeah. What else are you?
Yeah.
What else are you using when you eat?
Now the thing is, there's
eyes
a lot of cheesy jalapeno flavors out there, but this is the only harvest cheddar. Now, do you taste the harvest in the cheddar?
Define harvest.
Well, I think it's like, do you feel
Is
like
harvest cheddar like a thing? I don't think I've ever had a harvest cheddar.
I don't even know
I
what
don't know
that
what it
means.
Like, is harvest cheddar the same as old cheddar? Because then it's not strong.
Yeah,
It's like, to me, it's not a strong cheese flavor, and I think that's why I like it.
I would say harvest cheddar, even though I have I've never thought about it before. I think it is a milder cheese. It's like
it must be because
Yeah.
it's giving off milder flavors.
well, we've talked about it. Well, like because the bag doesn't give this bold in your face, the cheese also isn't in your face.
So it's very on brand for Miss Vickie's to like.
Yeah, I think
It takes a lot to kind of like have that restraint as
yeah,
well.
I think it's one of the more subtle cheeses I've had in quite some time.
Yeah,
So
I like that. I also like that it wasn't just blatantly a Cheetos cheese or a cheesy feta cheese.
It's its own cheese. It's a harvest cheese. We've never had harvest cheese before.
I don't know what it is,
Yeah.
but I kind of like it.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the barn really does help. Like, it's
Yeah.
amazing what the branding in the bag does. It really frames how you eat the chip.
Yeah. You eat, I guess. I mean, I said earlier, what else do you eat with other
Yeah.
than your nose and your mouth? But like, your eyes.
Yeah.
Totally.
And
It's
the
the first
and-
thing that hits.
And the jalapeno has this afterburn. It comes much later. Like, I'm still feeling a little bit of
I feel like
burn.
the back of my throat.
I was about to say, yeah, exactly there. So,
Yeah.
okay.
And like, I know we've been talking for a while now, but it's like, I don't know. There's nothing bad going on in my mouth, which is a good sign. I feel like I never usually notice like, oh yeah, like my mouth feels great after a chip. You know, I notice more when it's gross and I'm not getting any gross.
Yes.
Which is cool.
Okay.
Whether that's because of the powder or the flavoring or like anything like that, but yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else?
I guess the only thing to do is we have the segment at the end of our review. Yeah. Would you munch it or would you punch it? Would you munch this? Would you down something like this, or do you got to punch it and get it out of here?
This I think for me it's a munch. It's a munch for sure. If I were to give it like a 5-star rating,
absolutely, yeah.
I'd probably hit it with like a 4.4.
4.4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised.
Wow. Mm-hmm. For someone who doesn't like cheesy flavors, a
yeah.
4.4 is pretty high.
Yeah. That's in the 80s.
Yeah, yeah.
My math is right.
So obviously, I'm a big fan of this. Yeah, this is my second bag of it. Mm-hmm. First bag, I knew from the moment I saw it, I was gonna like it.
Yeah.
Had it and said I gotta go and get a second bag. I would give this. Man, this embodies to me so much of what I like about the chips. About chips in general. Mm-hmm. The flavor, the even the packaging, like it makes me want to eat it more.
Yeah.
Oh, it's hard to say. Like, I would give it probably like a 4.8. Like that's
like a top 3.
I would. I'm not kidding. It's one of the best chips I've ever had in my entire life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a great
4.8. I don't know where the rest of this podcast goes, and if we're gonna find, I don't know.
It's kind of like that's anything. A high bar.
Yeah. It might be in the top 5 chips I've ever had in my entire life.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Some people never experience a 4.8 chip.
Yeah.
But I hope that this episode and podcast helps you discover your 5-star chip one day.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Oh man. Well, that's episode 1. Miss Vickie's Harvest Cheddar and Jalapeño. If you like the episode, you like listening to us banter, and you want to talk with us, drop a comment, subscribe, wherever you listen or wherever we post it. Leave a 6-star review, and thanks for listening.
Yeah, may your casual snacking lead to lifelong friendship goals. See you on the block.
Cheers.